Welcome in, guys. Today is Thursday. We have a lot of news to go over, and let's just go ahead and jump into it. Something big is happening at the Pentagon right now because Pete Hegseth, the new Secretary of War, has just called an urgent meeting of over 800 generals and admirals to report immediately. Reports are saying this isn't just another routine briefing. Even officers overseeing active conflict zones are being pulled off duty to attend this meeting, and military insiders are calling it one of the most unusual gatherings in decades. Quote, some officials are baffled, others are worried. One source told reporters all of it is weird. Think about that. Pulling hundreds of the most powerful military leaders into one room without telling them the reason. And this comes at a tense time for the world. Russia continues its war in Ukraine, China is ramping up military pressure in Taiwan, and the Middle East is on edge after repeated clashes between Israel and Hamas. Not to mention North Korea still testing its missiles non-stop. And Pete Hegseth definitely hasn't made any friends since becoming the Secretary of War, firing senior commanders, slashing Pentagon leadership, and even suggesting renaming places altogether. Now, this sudden meeting has sparked fears that something even bigger is coming, and some Pentagon reporters say they haven't seen anything like this in 30 years. Whether or not we may be going to war or there is a huge military expedition about to happen, I would love to hear your thoughts about this. And going from our military here at home to militaries across the world, NATO just sent Russia its strongest warning yet, telling the Kremlin that if Russian jets keep violating NATO airspace, they are ready to shoot them down, and Russia is now calling that an act of war. Bloomberg just reported that European diplomats privately told Moscow this week one more violation and NATO will respond with full force. That means downing Russian planes. Already, Russian aircrafts have been buzzing close to NATO borders for months, sometimes crossing into Allied airspace before being escorted out, but this time, NATO says the line has been crossed too many times. Russia's reaction? Explosive. The foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, says that NATO has basically declared war on Russia, and one ambassador even warned that if a Russian jet is shot down, he said, quote, World War III will start. Now, this is happening while the war in Ukraine is grinding into its fourth year now. Western weapons are now flowing in, and Russia has deepened its ties with China, Iran, and North Korea. Not to mention, the United States also just announced another round of military aid to Kyiv, Ukraine. At the same time, NATO leaders are on edge. The alliance has increased air patrols over Eastern Europe, and the tensions are higher than they've ever been since the Cold War. So now not only is Russia increasing its war in Ukraine, now they are also having to worry about NATO and possibly ask other countries to get involved. But I'd love to know, what do you guys think about this? Imagine losing nearly 40 years of your life to prison for a crime you did not commit. That's exactly what happened to Maurice Hastings, and now after almost 40 years, he is now getting $25 million. Hastings was convicted back in 1983 for S-ing and the ending of a woman in California and was sentenced to life without parole. For years, he kept saying he was innocent, but nobody listened to him. He asked for DNA testing back in 2000, but prosecutors denied his request. It wasn't until 2021 that new testing finally proved the DNA was not his. Instead, it matched another man, Kenneth Packnett, who was later convicted of a similar violent crime, but that man ended up passing away in 2020. In 2022, Hastings' conviction was thrown out. He walked free at 69 years old after spending 38 years in prison for something he did not do. And just this week, a court approved a $25 million settlement, the largest wrongful conviction payout in California history. Hastings, who is now 72 years old, said no amount of money could ever restore the 38 years of my life that were stolen, but this settlement is a welcome end to a very long road. Just imagine losing that many years of your life, but then being given money that doesn't really matter because the money cannot replace the time that you lost. I'd love to know what you guys think about all this. And last, something happening in California again, this time a high school volleyball team who has had 8 of their last matches being forfeited because of the transgender boy that they have on their team. At Jurupa Valley High School in California, where student A.B. Hernandez joined the roster, schools like Riverside Poly, Orange Vista, and Aquinas, who are in the same district, have all refused to play them. And this is not just about forfeits. 3 of A.B. Hernandez's teammates, past and present, have now filed a lawsuit against the California School District and the Department of Education. They are arguing that they were forced to share a locker room with a male athlete, creating what they call a hostile environment. One player's family said that their Catholic faith teaches gender is fixed and created by God. Another player's family, practicing Muslims, said their beliefs prevent exposing their bodies to males, and both families argue they were ignored and pressured by school officials. The school district says their hands are tied. State law passed in 2013 allows transgender athletes to play on teams matching their gender identity. The California Department of Education said they are simply enforcing the law, and Governor Newsom's office, they say if people want change, it has to come from legislator, not him. So right now you have teams forfeiting, students suing, and parents calling for new laws, all while California stands firm on the decades-old policy. Now the question is, should these schools be forced to play, or should parents have some choice in what their kids are being exposed to? I appreciate you guys watching this. That was all the news today for Thursday, September 25th, and I will see you guys in the next one.